the best grooming methods for you. Yes, I'm natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help you swagger, style, class, and luxury. We got products that are made for you with high quality, yeah. So get style with the black, yeah. Company, swagger, style, class, and luxury, yeah. Black, gentleman, yeah. Company, swagger, style, class, and luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com.
Y'all know what it is. It's the usual suspect 650 jar. Buy your tickets now for a chance at winning half of a lot. Cash App, $, usual 50/50. Tickets on sale for $10 for one, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be set. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on These Boxing Talk Bullshit on the Velvet, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LEDC meeting in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LEDC and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Y'all know what it is. It's the Find the Boxer game. Purchase a box for a chance at winning $500. One of the 54 boxes has a missing box inside. Purchase your box or boxes by Cash App, usual 50/50. Include your box number, name, and email address. Your box number will be confirmed and sent directly to your email. Each box is $20 with a 1 in 54 chance of winning. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDEC meeting greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDEC, and remember,
It's a usual suspect day.
Yo. What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back, welcoming you to the post-fight show for Jonas versus Price, the Undisputed Welterweight title from Friday, March 7th. I didn't get a chance to do the post-fight yesterday because I was cutting it too close coming in from work and the fight's going on. And then I also had the Friday night chop session to do. So I figured, because there were not fights that I wanted to cover for today at this time slot, so I figured I'd get a chance to come in and talk about the very good fight between Natasha Jonas and Lauren Price, and give my final recap of that so we can put that away and move forward in the sport. This particular match was scheduled with the ladies competing for the IBF, IBO, and WBC titles on the line. There's another title out there that's the WBC title. I think that Sandy Ryan has that. And then there's a WBO title that's out there as well. So this fight between these two ladies were basically the undisputed title, because they were the most prominent figures outside of Michaela Mayer in this division. And Natasha Jonas had 2 belts going into this fight to the IBO title that Lauren Price brought in. And it turned out to be an undeniably exciting opportunity for Lauren Price to become a unified champion. And I mean, we're talking about, what did she have? 11 fights going in? She came in with 8 fights. And she's now 9-0 with 2 KOs. But she has a couple of good heads on the resume when you talk about the likes of Jonas and Jessica McCaskill. Some people had argued that Price may have been too green to enter this match with Natasha Jonas. But having the Olympic gold pedigree that she brought into the fight, also with her work ethic and the way that she has performed, and also with her youth, as opposed to what Jonas was undeniably considering. She was not considering. Jonas is now 40 years old. Lauren Price was 10 years her junior. So it was an opportunity for her to get to the mountaintop quickly. And as I had talked about on my Friday night chop session last night, this young lady, I would caution you to keep an eye out on her. She has a window between now and the next 3 years to really get some things done in the welterweight division. And she's a hard-working fighter. She has an aura that presents that she might be like kind of mean-spirited or something, but she's not really. She's a very kind person, but she is well practiced in boxing, even having a background in martial arts as a young girl. So it's like she knows how to handle herself. And I believe throughout the promotion for this fight, Jonas was really in denial about what she was facing, but she did bow out gracefully with the victory that Price secured. But I'm telling you, to be dismissive of the opponent as they are little to nothing or bring little to nothing to the contest, you really look bad and foolish when you're not giving an acknowledgement for someone else's abilities. Because if you're tearing them down and you defeat them, why should we celebrate you? And if you're tearing them down and they defeat you, you look more the worse for wear and foolish. So that's something to take into consideration, not just in the women's division of boxing, but across the board. So that's what we're talking about this evening. And we're going to also talk about the co-main, which was really a spirited battle that saw Caroline Dubois defend her WBC lightweight title against South Korean Bo-Mi Ri-shin. And the way that fight closed out, it was a great deal of revelation regarding what may be in store for Caroline going forward, and her trainer, Shane McGuigan. So with that being said, let's get on in here and see who we got in the building. We got a couple of comments there. Not too many people commenting, but you guys got eyes out there. I see how many people have stopped through, and it's nasty work, as you guys like to say nowadays, that nobody is writing in the chat. But that's okay. We got my man Drew Titan LLC out there, says he's at work listening. Salute to the chat. And Royal Constrictor is out there saying greetings, Sensei, and good people in the chat. Yeah. Albert Doherty is just popped in to acknowledge what's going on with you. Good to see you out there. He says salute to the chat. There's a lot going on, man, in the sport right now. There's like boxing on right now, I think on Pro Box, and I think the Zone has something going on right now, but they're not the big time fighters. So it's like if you tune in to those, you'll get a chance to see some young up and coming guys who will probably pop on the scene later in the year or even early next year. But again, what do I say? Watch the sport, right? Watch the sport of boxing. And it's important that you do that so you can fortify yourself with the sport, how it's run, how fighters fight, the scenarios that they run into, things of that nature. So it's something to consider. Dragon Fang is in the building saying salute. And Todd Swindle is right behind saying salute, Stormy B-Man in chat. Salute to you both. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure you smash the like button on your way into the building. So, kicking things off regarding this particular card, it was the second all-women's card headlining in the UK after we saw a couple of years back where we saw Clarissa Shields fight for Undisputed at middleweight against Savannah Marshall. That was shortly after the passing of the Queen of England, and that fight, it drew record numbers. It had an all-women cast with bouts from top to bottom, and it was really a historical time in the sport. So here we have the second all-women promotion, which was really interesting. Ben Shalom and his boxer promotion group put this event on, and it was the nickname of the event was Unstoppable. And I'll tell you, for the women that fought on this card, everyone gave their best. There were fights where you could see clearly that there were individuals who were running into trouble, but one of the things I will acknowledge is that the spirit that these women fought with in each of their respective bouts. You know, too much criticism is given to when someone has done something wrong or improper or whatever, but not enough credit given for those who come out to execute their game plans and give a wholehearted, full-blooded effort. And that's what we were able to see. Going back upon reflection, had a chance to see Francesca Hennessy come out and secure a victory over Gemma Ruick, and that was a super bantamweight fight that was scheduled for 8 rounds. And Francesca boxed well. She really put on a show, and she basically won on points in this 8-rounder. She gave a good lesson to Gemma Ruick. So, and Gemma hadn't won but one fight out of her last 6. She had a points draw, and then she lost on points with a UD in her last fight. Some of these fighters, because there are not a number of women competing in the sport, so some of them have to fight in between weights, and even some of the young comers have to fight some of the more veteran fighters earlier than maybe normal, because the numbers have not grown increasingly enough for it to make a difference in the sport yet, but it's coming on. And there are some fighters who are just willing to get in there and give their best effort. And such was the case in this super bantamweight 8-rounder with Hennessy and Ruick. So that turned out to be a fight that was opening up the card. It was followed up by Chloe Watson as she came in to take on Jasmina Zapatna from the UK, both ladies. And Chloe felt like she was ready to come in at the flyweight division and make her mark. I kind of talked about it last night when I said she reminds of a young Carrie Fisher, you know, with her smile and everything. But Jasmina, felt like she earned that decision. It was a split decision victory for Chloe Watson, with judges' scorecards of 97-93 and 95-96 twice. But I say, how about bringing these two together again? Though Jasmina is 30 and Chloe happens to be 25, they were kind of evenly matched. So that split decision, hey, I could watch it again, these two, because I believe someone would fight a little harder and try with a little more earnest effort in a rematch. This was for the EBU, European Flyweight title. That's kind of like a regional title before you come into contention for a world title. So that's what we were able to see with that. And I'm telling you, if you're not watching some of these UK fighters, you're doing yourself a disservice, because they have come along by leaps and bounds from what they were just like 4 years ago. It's really growing. The sport is growing in the women's division of boxing, whereas we've seen some of the world title holders have been upset by some of the younger upstarts that are coming into the sport. And it's quite interesting because you're going to see those who are displacing the more veterans. Now they have a chance to set forth their own path, and you get a chance to follow their trajectory with their career. Kind of interesting when it comes down to that. And some of them have a little more charisma than others. Some of them are just like all business, which is respectable. But when you think of certain fighters like Sinisa Estrada, she retired last year. So those belts that she had at undisputed minimum weight, you know, those titles are free now. So some of these ladies can start vying for those titles. Even some of the fighters that Sinisa beat already will have a chance to throw their hat right back into the ring of competitiveness to fight for a world title. So that's how you have to look at that. Now, the third match on this card saw Karis Ardingsall take on Raven Chapman in another all UK matchup, featherweights, and this was a 10-rounder for the BBBFC British featherweight vacant title, and you can consider that another one of those regional type titles. And Karis, who had been out of the ring for a long time, she basically fought once in 2024. That was in January, and prior to that, she hadn't fought since October of 2023. So she had taken a step back from the sport for a little bit. Now, what was interesting about Raven Chapman, she had a chance against Sky Nicholson last October, and she lost a unanimous decision to Sky. Sky used that boxing ability and that mobility that she's able to execute to keep her at the end of her shots and not let her engage as she wanted to get close. The one thing about Raven is that she does want to mix it up, and if her counterpart doesn't allow her to do so, what happens is that she doesn't have the technical proficiency to box from range. And Karis went to work on her, man. I mean, Karis, who's 30 years old, and her record presently is 7-0 after yesterday's victory with 1 KO. She also happens to be, I believe, and if I'm wrong on this, I had said it a couple of times already, but I believe she's the partner of Lauren Price. But she's a southpaw fighter, and she boxes very well, and she has a little bit of pop on her punches because during this fight, she knocked Chapman down with a wonderful straight left to the chin in the second round. As Chapman was moving forward behind the high guard, she punched through that guard and hit Chapman right on the chin and dropped her. And the round ended shortly after that. Doesn't it always seem to happen that the rounds will end after somebody gets dropped or whatever? It's like they don't have enough time to finish and follow up. And with the ladies boxing, it's only 2-minute rounds. So you can imagine the frustration of Ardingsall after having scored that knockdown. But she was throwing fierce 1-2s and had pretty much marked her territory when Chapman was trying to come in from mid-range to close. She was catching her with short check hooks, right hooks, uppercuts, and that straight left down the pike. She was very formidable, Ardingsall. So, and she feels like, hey, there's a championship in her destiny. And who knows, there very well may be. But if she's going to be down there, I think Gabriela Fundora is down there, or at least near that weight class. So that would be interesting because, you know, at 5'7", you know, Arkansas is a decent height. So is Raven. But I do believe that Gabriella is like 5'9" or so, 5'10". So that would be an interesting fight. Southpaw. And listen, Karis, if she decides to set down on those punches, she's going to score more knockouts than what she has presently, because I can always tell by the technique and form. And she looked like she had really good form on that shot that dropped Chapman. And Chapman is not a chump. She's a really good fighter. It's just that Sky stayed away from her and kept a distance and range where she remained safe. And Raven wasn't able to break through there and get some good work done on the inside. So that was something that we didn't see in that fight. But she has outworked most of her opponents, and she has gotten to the point where now her record is 9-2 with 2 KOs. But she'll be right back at it because she's a busy fighter. She fought Sky in October, and prior to October, she fought in July. And, you know, she's that type of fighter who will get busy. So you have to acknowledge that for fighters who don't just sit around. Plus, there has to be someone available at the weight for them to get in there and perform, because that's very important as well, to be able to have someone that you can face, you know, at the weight. Because like I said, the numbers game with the ladies of boxing, if someone's coming off of a bad loss or just a rugged fight, they may not be able to go within 3 or 4 months or 6 months. They may want to take longer time off. And because the numbers game is such that you'll have to wait for another opponent, you know, that's what happens, because there's not a lot of people. It's not like you could just next one up, because there might be, let's say you have a top 10, but out of that top 10, maybe 3 of them are in between weights and things of that nature, or at a status where they have a weight between fights because they may have lost the decision or lost by knockout or something like that. So that numbers game, as I mentioned, comes into play with some of these fighters. But overall, you know, this card was an entertaining card. They were in a small venue that kind of remind me of the Olympic Auditorium, where I think Oscar De La Hoya closed that out years ago, back in the late 90s. And then we used to have a place when here in America called the Blue Horizon, that was a small venue, but the seating was such that you were sitting right up on top of the ring and everything, which was really cool and cozy. And you could see the best of fighters getting it on at the Blue Horizon, which was a wonderful place. You know, the Three Wise Men of Boxing did a show where we talked about fight venues, and we featured talking about the Blue Horizon, a historical landmark that I kind of wish that we could return to that, because watching young fighters that are up and coming, it's great to see them in those type of environments, and they can develop a fan base and people can see them do their thing. That's really admirable to have a venue like that. So, yeah. See, we got a lot of peepers out there, man. Look at this. It's ridiculous how many. It's like over 50 people, man, have come through here, but only my little short cast of those who decided to write in the chat. Isn't that something? That's crazy, man. Nasty work. As my brothers would say, nasty work. Nasty work. But yeah, getting back to the card, the co-main event featured Caroline Dubois, young sister of Daniel Dubois, the IBF heavyweight champion. Caroline was defending her WBC lightweight title, and she had a heck of a challenger in Bo-Mi Rinshin from South Korea. Now, Bo-Mi Rinshin is 30 years of age. She's an orthodox fighter. She's 5'6", and she's a strong fighter, a veteran fighter with 23 fights under her belt. So I knew that she was going to give Caroline a challenge, but I didn't know how much. But with her record now of 18-3 with 3 draws, she has 10 KOs on her record. And now, after watching her fight Caroline, I understand how she got those KOs. Shin is a fighter who can come on late. And that's exactly what she was able to do against Caroline. She took Caroline into the second half of the fight and began to really fight back. She rocked Caroline with a couple of right hands, and Caroline, you guys, and I said that I would talk about this with her and Shane McGuigan, the cardinal sin, she got tired. She got tired, y'all. Caroline got fatigued. Like round 7, she had been throwing punches so hard, and also, I guess, the event and the anxiety of defending that title for the first time, she was feeling the pressure. And that anxiety will burn your stamina up more than the physical activity. And that's when Shin started to pick it up with her. And she started landing some body shots on Caroline. And Caroline early in the fight had hit and rocked her with body shots, but she didn't stay consistent with it. So she was trying to stay close to Bo-Mi Rinshin, but that should not have been. And I fault Shane because Shane wasn't giving her the proper instructions. And Caroline was fatigued. She was blowing in between rounds 7, 8, 9. In between that round and the next round, Caroline was starting to fall apart. If this was a 12-round fight or a 3-minute fight, 3-minute a round, Caroline would have been in some trouble. And Bo-Mi Rinshin was well versed and practiced and experienced to deal with everything, and you could see her coming around and turning the curve. Now, the decision turned out to be a majority decision for Caroline, but one judge had it for Bo-Mi Rinshin. Now, I'm going to say, I don't think Bo-Mi Rinshin won the fight, and I don't think it was a draw, because as I watched it, I would say she won those rounds 7, 8, and maybe 10. But she didn't do enough to win the entire fight. But this woman is a good fighter. She's a good fighter. Just because she's from South Korea, please don't be looking at her or any of these other fighters because they're from a region that you're not that familiar with, but you don't think much of or whatever. Don't do that, because one of these fighters is going to come in and beat the fighter that you're supporting, that you're more familiar with, because you don't know what they bring. And this woman brought experience. Caroline is going to learn so much from this fight. When the bell rang for the 10th and final round to end the round, Caroline stumbled back to her corner after trying to fight toe-to-toe for the last, I want to say 45 seconds or 50 seconds of the round, when she should have been boxing, sticking and moving and turning Bo-Mi Rinshin. But she was in there allowing this woman to punch on her and stay in the fight. So it was very close at the end there. It was very close at the end, but not enough throughout the entire fight to give Bomi Rishin the decision, but it was enough to take acknowledgement for how strong and experienced a fighter that she is. My man Trick Noti is in the building. What's going on with you, Trick? He says, Stormy, Bomi Rishin, I feel women need 3 rounds instead of 2. I feel if she had more time, she would have stopped her. Hey, I just said that, right? And I was saying that, Trick, before you wrote your comment. That was already in my mind, that I was saying that if this was 3-minute rounds or if it was a 12-round fight, Caroline was in trouble. And she did a lot of talking. She did a lot of boasting, but she wasn't able to back it up in her actions. And Dragon Fang says facts. So I know that I'm not lying when I'm talking about what I'm saying here. The woman was a very good fighter, and if her coaches and trainers could get her to start a little bit sooner, like maybe round 5, because had she picked that up as early as round 5, Caroline would have definitely been in trouble. And Shane didn't have the answers for Bomi. He didn't. And it was a really tough battle. But I like the fact that Caroline won a tough bout, because cakewalks like her previous fight, where, the clash of heads caused them to make it a draw, where that woman Jessica Kamara already felt that she was in trouble and bowed out. You know what I'm saying? And Caroline, she took that as, okay, I'm the champ. They don't want to stay in there with me, but I beg to differ. Because even Caroline's previous fight before Jessica Kamara, which took place in January of this year, going back to August of last year when she fought Mayra Moneo, that was a fight where Caroline dropped Moneo in the 6th round, but she went on to a unanimous decision. But what I'm noticing with Caroline, because the competition is stepping up, plus now she's a world title holder, she's not setting people up. She's not putting in the work to make a fight become easy. Never is the fight easy, but you have to put in work to make it easier for yourself. It's like chipping blocks, right? You have to put that work in. And what I noticed about Caroline, especially like against Bomi Rishin, early in the fight, she threw a couple of body shots. I think it was in the 2nd round or something. She really dug to Bomi's body really good in a sequence, but I never saw that again in the rest of the fight. And see, you can't fight close to a fighter without knowing how to get the work done on the inside. And ironically, Caroline mentioned it in her post-fight interview outside the ring. She was talking and she said, I'm going to have to go back to the gym and learn how to fight on the inside. Yes, you're going to have to learn how to do that. And I don't know that Shane is the guy to teach you that, because Caroline, you are already a world title holder with 11 bouts, 12 if you count your technical draw. You have 12 fights under your belt. You've got 5 KOs in the 12 fights. You need to now learn how to fight on the inside, but you should have been getting this education along the way. Yes, you're 24 years of age, but I'm going to tell you something. To be able to be in close with somebody and know how to handle yourself in close proximity, most fighters, don't want to be in close proximity. Most fighters want to operate from a certain range, whether it's mid-range to fully extended long range. But being on the inside, where you can smell the other person's deodorant or lack thereof, you want to be able to know how to maneuver, manipulate, block, counter, do all the things that you need to do to take that person apart systematically. And it's not about teaching you how to use your head and headbutts or elbows, but it is about teaching you how to switch your leverage. Being a southpaw fighter, one great advantage. Now, I'm going to give some game away on the air here for Caroline Dubois, because there are UK people out here. Some of you might even be on her DMs, or you be subscribed to her channel or whatever, right? Caroline needs to learn, because she's a southpaw, how to fight from orthodox on the inside. In other words, to be able to square up, because your southpaw advantage in close proximity is no longer an advantage. Your southpaw advantage is from mid-range to outside. That's why Bo Mi Rishin was doing damage to you when you were in close, because you southpaw don't mean anything if I'm standing that close and we're breathing on each other. It doesn't. It's only from the directions that the punches come when they're incoming, not when they're right there from the launch pad. See, that's a little bit of technical game for you. All you got to do is go back and watch Evander Holyfield when he fought Michael Moorer in their second fight. In the first fight, Moorer stayed on the outside and boxed Holyfield and kept that right jab in his face and peppered him with lefts throughout the evening. And Holyfield's left hand, for whatever reason, he couldn't get that arm up. He was having shoulder problems or whatever, but Michael Moorer took him apart. But in the second fight, Holyfield got into mid-range, nullified Moorer's good right jab, and started banging him on the inside, where he disrupted Moorer's game by not being able to use a southpaw advantage in close proximity. So he nullified that. He knocked Michael Moorer down about 35 times in that fight before they finally stopped it. Moorer kept getting up, but Holyfield kept putting him down. You understand? So that was one of the things that Holyfield learned actually on the fly, in the fight, during the fight. That, man, on the outside, I can't have my advantage, but in close, we're lined up as the same. Yes, sir. Remember that. Soul Power, Gamed Up Kennels is in the building. It says, salute, brother Stormy and family. What's good with you, Soul Power? Brooklyn Born is in the building saying, salute, what's happening? And Dragon Fang said, that's why Tank struggled with Roach. Absolutely, Dragon Fang. Staying close to Tank to nullify the southpaw advantage. And you saw how he was hitting Tank, and Tank wasn't dealing with it well, because Tank was trying to figure out what the devil's going on here. That's what it was, you see? But I'm going to tell you something. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Roach and people putting him down and stuff like that. But that's ring IQ. Okay, I just gave an example of it by using Holyfield and Moorer, and I made a suggestion about it before giving that example for Caroline, what she needs to work on going forward in her future endeavors. And I've also explained why that would be advantageous for you to do. You see? Broke it down. Real Spill, Midwest Boxing Talk in the building saying, salute, Stormy. What's going on with you? Dragon Fang says, yes, sir. Yep. You know, I can always explain this stuff, but it's not, most people, they don't want to listen, man. It's in one ear and out the other, that kind of thing, you know. That's how that usually goes. But it can help. It can help. I'm so hungry, you guys. I was trying to eat before the show, but I wasn't able to do it. But I gotta get me something to eat, man. But yeah, let's get to the main event now. The main event, which saw Lauren Price take 2 belts away from Natasha Jonas, man. Huh? That was a workmanlike effort by Lauren Price. Most people thought that Price was going to go in and try to knock Jonas out. Nah. What she did to Jonas is humbled her, because she showed her Olympic experience, she showed her professional experience, and she showed a ring IQ that Natasha gave no credence to whatsoever. When they signed to fight this fight and they had their pressers where they were interviewing and everything, Jonas never acknowledged this young lady's abilities. Never. And Jonas couldn't keep up with the pace. She couldn't get into a rhythm. She couldn't find this woman. She couldn't find her. When she would try to throw a hard, heavy shot, Price was 3 feet away from her and just moving around and then coming back in range and peppering her with clean, effective shots. She didn't know what to do. And it was a beautiful performance by Price because she showed ring IQ, ability to be on the move, good defense, and she knew where she was within rounds. She could pick it up against Jonas if she wanted to. And I think she could have even pressed the envelope with Jonas even more than she did. But that's okay, because she was doing well. She was swimming without getting wet, you know? Yeah. Real Spill says, tuning in from Decatur, Illinois. Okay, that's what's up, man. From Decatur. Tay is in the building saying, good evening, Seafood. Blessings. And good evening, chat. What's going on with you, Tay? I know there's some MMA happening pretty soon, right, Tay? But thank you for stopping in all the same. Thank you. But yeah. So, Price is a good fighter, bordering on becoming a great fighter. She's still early in her career, but this is like what you want to see. You want to catch these fighters when they're on their way like this, because you'll be able to fondly look back and see the growth, or where they taper off, or where they fall off. You see? But I told you, this particular fighter in Price, I give her about a 3-year window. She's going to be all right. Levon Everett III is out there saying, Stormy, not to be off topic, but here we go. Sir, but does Serrano have a chance of finally getting her hand raised this time coming? Levon Everett III. I want you to write in the chat, what do you know about Natasha Jonas? And what do you know about Lauren Price? Not to be off topic of your question, but I would like to know, do you know anything about these two fighters that I'm presently discussing? Because the last time I checked, was that May, June, July, whenever that fight is going to be between Serrano and Taylor. It's a long way away, bruh. Long way away. But do you know anything about Natasha Jonas? And do you know anything about Lauren Price? And that's a serious question. Serious question. And for the record, I had Serrano winning both fights the first 2 times around. For the record, for me. But I'm not an official judge. And Katie Taylor is a cheat. So, there you go. Hey, did you all hear that Kell Brook had a baby with Ebony Bridges. I guess Kell Brook, he ain't boxing no more. But he delivering still chocolate brownies, huh? Yeah! Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, did he? I didn't know that. Z1000. Didn't know that. I didn't know that much about Kell's personal life. I just saw something come up on my news feed earlier today. But hey, he was online sniffing coke, so maybe he was he was doing the Tyson Fury, huh? Okay, Levon Everett says, Stormy, I'm aware that Jonas and Price are the top two fighters in the 140-pound women's division, and Price is one belt away from undisputed. Okay, did it take you that long to Google that and figure that out and then write that in the chat? Because it took you a minute, huh? And because I am talking about them, that's what this post-fight show is about. Why did we have to go off topic? I'm trying to understand. Okay, you was typing. Okay, that's cool. No, I'm just trying to understand, man. I'm trying to understand because, sometimes we have something good right in front of us, right? And then people are still looking outside. They looking up the road, trying to see around the bend. What's on the horizon? I'm the only person out here in the community that has covered these two ladies and their event. The significance of it being the second all-women's promoted card. I'm the only guy that's been doing it because I've been looking. Ain't nobody else doing it. And I said that this was my cap off on it, right? This is my final wrap up of that. But nobody else is doing that, man. And, people be trying to say the sport is dying and all of that kind of foolishness. And here I am, and I can get almost 70 people watching, but only the few of you in the chat that are writing, and even fewer still that's hitting my like button, but they want to talk about the sport is dying. Go figure. If you all notice how much I've talked about Tank Davis and Roach, I said what I had to say and I kept it moving. Roach should have a new title at lightweight. He should be the new champion. But, they like to continue to, push corruption in the sport. And it's obviously not made enough of you angry because I don't see the backlash that it should be. There should be serious backlash. So therefore, I'm talking about who should get some glory and spotlight. These ladies. And I didn't come down heavy on Natasha Jonas. My serious critique about her was that she didn't want to acknowledge this young lady's talents and abilities. And it came back to bite her. And Shane McGuigan, listen, I'm not Shane McGuigan, he's Gallagher, right? Gallagher is her trainer. Hey, he should have had a different strategy. Now, I saw them working on something in the locker room before the fight because I went back and watched it over, right? But what they were working on in the locker room that I saw in the sequence, she never did that in the fight. If she had done that in the fight, she could have had some type of success, but it was going to require some consistency. Yeah, Gallagher, that's what I was saying there. Yeah. But for an all women's card, this was damn good boxing. I keep trying to stress that because, again, some people are not necessarily ready to go watch the all women bouts. Like Mayer and Ryan are fighting their rematch at the end of this month. That's gonna be exciting to see. That's going to be exciting. But Caroline bet she got something to work on. Caroline has something to work on. And if she doesn't do those things, she's going to run into some issues. But Mayer and Ryan, the winner of that fight, it's going to be a great opponent for Lauren Price. Early on, I'm taking Price over either of them. Early on. Early. That's at this point right now. That can change by the time their fight rolls around. I just respect what's really going on with Lauren Price and what she's accomplishing at this present time in her career. She got a lot of good things going on positively. Ryan and Mayer have some kind of behind the scenes issues going on between them and their camps, which led to that first fight. I think it was a grudge match where Ryan didn't necessarily come out as focused as she may have needed to be. And with the whole paint incident and all of that, it probably further took her out of the game. So hopefully during this fight, they can both come in and handle their affairs properly. Yep. Man, it's ridiculous. I mean, man, this is like, wow. I'm just looking at Dragon Fang's comment. He's like, the blonde bomber? Yeah, man. Yep. The brownie bomber. Mm-hmm. It is what it is, huh? Well, we got some more fights coming up next week, so you guys can look forward to that, huh? Look forward to it. I got a Patreon coming on Monday morning, you guys. Talking about the homoerotic situation with boxing and his fan base. What the hell's going on? So that's the Patreon. You guys be dialed in for that, because that's going to be interesting. No YouTube, I say. Huh? No copyright. Yeah. No YouTube. This is not suitable for all audiences and the advertisers and all of that foolishness. Whatever, man. Whatever. Here they come with their little sirens and their rainbow-colored vehicles, trying to get at me. Whatever. Let me hit my man Focus Ball up.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a focus ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a focus ball. When you train with the focus ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the focus ball now.
Yeah, make sure you get you some of that Stormybman merchandise from the A Weapons site or the Streamlabs site. And also, if you're an athlete and you're competing and you want to increase your agility, your reflexes, invest in the focus ball. That is an amazing piece of equipment and apparatus that can help almost any athlete with timing, reflective actions, movement, and mobility. A great design by my man, Healer, the teacher. Yeah. So, we're coming to the end of another post-fight show. I just thought I would come out here and put my final twist and spin on a great fight card that featured all the ladies from the UK over there. The second all-women's card, and it was very successful. A very good event that showed the top featured artists, fighters who participated in it, and I'm glad and better off having seen it. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, you should, because there's some great action on there, and the fighters that were victorious, there's plenty more to look forward coming from them as the year of 2025 goes ahead. So with that being said, we're going to get on up out of here. Appreciate everybody that came in and decided to participate in the chat. And those of you who decided to hit the like button, much appreciation to you all. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Are you shocked, Mr. Williams?
Only how sloppy your man works.